Good morning, gorgeous. Good morning, gorgeous. Don't forget to smile. As you look radiant as you are the queen of your Nile, wake up, beautiful. It's time to spread your wings. Open up your window and hear the songbirds as they sing.
Good morning and welcome to the Good Morning Gorgeous podcast, your Saturday morning dose of inspiration. I am Sharonda Steele
I'm yours truly, Larissa Williams.
and today we have a special guest with us, Kiara Brewer-Carroll. Hey,
Hi.
Kiara. Thanks
Good
for joining us
morning.
today. We're excited to have you here.
I'm excited.
We met Kiara a couple of months ago at a conference, and we just knew we had to bring her on as a young student, soon to be young professional, to talk about some of the things that she has going on. I already know your future is just beyond bright. So I'm excited that we get to talk to you now, and then once you have a big name, I can always go back and say, yeah, we were with her when she first was getting going.
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely.
So for all of our other viewers and listeners, why don't we get started by you just telling us a little bit about yourself?
Yes. Okay. So my name is Kiara Brewer-Carroll. I am from Louisville, Kentucky. And right now I am studying at U of L for music therapy. So I transferred to U of L probably about 2 years ago during COVID. I had made it a complete path change from chemist to music. And since then, I definitely am glad I made that change because I've just begun to see more of my passions and my purpose start to align. In the community, I do a lot of philanthropy and community service. And so I enjoy doing those things. And then I'm also a foodie. So I love to cook. And I've started ventures with cooking, a food business. And so I have a great, strong entrepreneurial spirit. And that's something that I just would love to share with my peers and, as mentorship with young adults and young children.
Wow. So before we jump into the cooking business, because I'm curious,
I am too.
music therapy, for those that may not know what that is, can you just give a quick description on what do you mean when you say music therapy?
Yes, so music therapy is another way, a form of therapy in the sense of we do music-based interventions to help cope with treatment, mental illnesses, or just rehabilitation. And so you could go to any other sorts of therapists, but it's for someone who wants to broaden their horizon and connect with the more music-based elements and principles, then that's where people like me would come in place. And so that is uh, a generalized.
Oh yeah, I love it. And actually,
I
when
do
you said
too.
music therapy, I lit up because I always look at music as our great equalizer, right? We all
Mm-hmm.
have so many differences. Music is that
Right.
one piece that really began to connect people across all walks of life. So why not use it for therapeutic, reasons?
Mm-hmm.
So when
Definitely.
you said that, I was like, yes. And I think I've heard of it before, but never in a full conversation. I knew that music therapy existed, of course, but never had someone that actually was studying or working in that field to really talk through it with them. So that's
Yes.
exciting.
Yes. I'm excited. And I want to touch on when you had just mentioned about meeting people. I've met a lot of people who do music. Obviously, as an artist, I've always surrounded myself by music related people. But sometimes when I tell people music therapy, they look at me and they're like, what? Like, you can get a degree in that? I'm like, yes, you can. Because it's not just, just playing a music for someone's playlist or just, like like what you would do for when you're by yourself in a private area. But there's other ways of trying to use music to try to just connect with those things that come with like your mental health instability. And for me, I'm more prone to wanting to help kids who suffer from um, ADHD and like ADD, autism, those things that a lot of our younger kids suffer with in schools, that our teachers aren't not supposed to take all that control. They're supposed to be teaching. That's why I feel like me as a therapist could step in and be like that mediation to help kids process, things that may be going on with them in that learning environment. So
I love it.
Yeah, I recently started a new position, and one of the ladies in my area, she has a son that is autistic. And so he had a little incident because they moved. And so the previous bus driver, he knew her, she understood, she knew how to handle because she knew the kid. But this new bus driver this week has been like so mean. I mean, mean and just like terrible. And so I love the idea to think about, music therapy being added into the public school system to be able to, because I don't know if it's out there. If it is, I haven't heard anything about it.
Right.
And I feel like that is something that should be added into the public school system when you have someone that has autism or ADHD or Down syndrome, because their reaction to people is totally different. So if they have that sense of music or something, that if there could be a device that could be created along with the musical therapist coming in to work with those schools on an individual basis to teach the teachers, not only, it doesn't have to be directly at the teacher, but if they have someone that is in each classroom to help those students that have these like ADHD, autism, or Down syndrome, if they have someone where you would come in, that you would train the people that are sitting in the classroom that are assisting these students.
Right.
That is huge.
It is.
That would be so huge across the board for you and for the public school systems everywhere.
Yeah.
If they did something like that.
And I think they have like counselors and some form of therapists in the school, but I've never heard of a musical therapist being in the school.
And sometimes it's just that by adding that word makes another kid opening to just trying it out.
Yes, no, absolutely. People that are afraid of counseling and therapists and that connotation.
Like, yes. No, I'm not going to sit on no one's couch. And it's like, it's not supposed to be that intimidating. So when you add that music, they're like, oh, what is that? Oh, this is what this is?
Right.
Oh, this is just conversational. Oh, we're actually working on something. And I guess it's one of those things you won't know until hindsight, when those triggers or traumas is coming, you're like, that actually helped. And then you can look back and say it was music therapy, or it was my therapist, whatever it was. Someone was there to intervene, and that's all that really matters.
No, you're right. You're right, because I think people do think when you go therapist, they'd be like, oh no, and nothing's wrong with me. They're afraid. Mm-hmm. But just putting that one word in front of it, it does. It make it lighter. It makes it seem like it's doable. Like, okay, let me see what this is about. And then once you get in there and you really start enjoying or getting the benefit from it, then you get more buy-in.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I love it. I love it.
So Kiara, so what made you go into music therapy? Choosing that path, shifting from a chemist to music therapy?
Yeah.
I would have to say, and I'm going to be honest with you, nothing but God. I had a lot of control in my life, in the sense of I had this mapped up plan of what I was going to do, what I had set my intentions on. And, I moved myself to Fisk to surround myself with the more African-American culture, because I just came from a PWI, Mercy Academy. I love my alma mater, but I wanted to go somewhere where I could be around more like-minded people. And so while I'm in there learning the courses, doing the material, being pushed by my peers, there was I felt this thing. I was like, I don't like it. I knew that my intentions were, I'm going to be a chemist to learn more about medicine, and I'm going to go be a pharmacist. I want to get the money so I can go get me a Porsche SUV. That was my goal. I wanted the Porsche SUV Cayenne. I had the dream, that's what I was doing. And the Lord was like, I was there and I was just like, I don't like this. Like, I'm not happy. I'm not content. I'm excelling in my labs, but then I'm like working my butt off to just get a B in this test. And I'm still getting like C averages, and I've never been an average student. So I just was like, I gotta look back, and I'm like, is this really what I want for myself? And so COVID took me all the way back home. I had talked with a professor before I left, and I was telling her my interest, and she was like, have you ever heard of music therapy? She was like, it seems like you're very still science-based. You still want the psychology. You love working with people, but I could tell that you're missing that element that you said that you've done a lot of, which was music. And I was like, yeah. I was like, I think I just was like, I'm just not going to be able to make money with it. So I never thought of it again. And so I took that, did some research on it. I was going to end up staying in Nashville to go to Belmont. I didn't want to go into debt. My grandma was like, U of L just opened up a school of music program. I said, what? I mean, a music therapy program. I was like, what?
Wow.
So I had to apply. Remind you, everything in the school of music is classical based. I've never been classically trained in my life. So I reached out to people, helped me learn some songs. I auditioned. They saw me. They were like, we can see that you're very beginner in some things, but we love your voice. And they were like, we're willing to teach you if you're willing to put in the work. I said, I'm willing to put in the work.
Wow, that's great.
So I got accepted into the School of Music, and it's been a lot of trial and error in the sense of I've been progressing. But again, music, when you're going into it for the degree, what I've learned is that I was never taught the theory and those fundamentals, which was hard to comprehend right off the bat. But again, God keeps bringing people in my life to keep pushing me. And it's like, you're going to learn this. You're going to do well. Don't get stuck with the year. Just do it because this is your purpose. I've already told you. You just got to be confident in it. Yeah. So I'm here. I've been doing things music related, and I'm not going to change it for anything. So
love it. And I think there is, opportunity to be able to have financial gain with this. We know therapy is important. And I think one of the things that a lot of people in general, but especially in our educational institutions, we're learning that there's a lot of mental health issues that students are dealing with, or that people in general are dealing with. So finding different ways in which you can reach people, meet them where they are to be able to help them. So I can really see, and I'm sure there are probably other, musical therapists out there, but I can really see, you being able to tap into, K through 12, maybe even some on a, college level, because I know, it is very much needed. I know where I am now, they had to hire more counselors because the books were so full, they weren't able to see all of the students that needed them. And, it had been a challenge for a while coming out of COVID where, there was an influx in students that had mental health issues, and they were seeking help. They all were seeking help. And it was hard to be able to find, have enough time in the day to see all of them. And a lot of schools are struggling with that right now. So I can see you really flourishing in this area for sure.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. I love it.
I feel I'm sitting here because I want to hear a little. I don't want to put you on the spot.
Oh, Lord.
I mean, I really wanted to hear a little something.
Listen to you.
I don't care if it's 2 lines.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. I get I'm like a little raspy this morning.
It's so jazzy though.
That gave me some chill.
No, I absolutely love
your I'm a jazz fan.
Yes.
I actually sung that song when I competed for Miss U of L last semester. That was a song that I did. And it was just in the season that I was feeling. And I was like, no, like, I'm going to sing this song. Like, I need this for myself. It wasn't about winning. I was like, I feel good where I'm at. I'm content.
Oh, that's so good.
So it's one of my
favorites. Oh, I love it. I love it.
Okay, see, look, I'm already, my mind is blowing. Every time we're meeting with somebody, I'm just thinking about the conference. Yeah.
We have some things coming down the road. So folks that we were connecting with now, we're looking at some other opportunities to work with them later. So that's what she's
Definitely.
talking about.
Mhm.
So every time we talk to someone, she's going, ooh, ooh, ooh,
Ooh,
ooh.
ooh.
Yeah.
Just
I know
write
how
it
they work.
down, write it down now, and we'll revisit it in a couple of weeks
Yeah, when we go on our retreat.
when we go on our retreat. But
Yeah.
I'm
Oh, that sounds amazing. When you all kept saying retreats, I just with the nonprofit that I'm trying to work on to build, that's one thing that I've implemented is these things called self-love retreats. I started them last summer with girls from ages 8 to 18. And I got girls. I only did 15 girls because I got a grant for $500. So I did 15 girls, and we gave them a day of self love. And when I
Love
and it was
it.
it was an overnight experience, and I got mentors to come with their business. Like they got nails, toes. They did paint parties, canvases. It was really fun. And then the next day we woke up and they got their makeup done. We did a photo shoot, and you never know, like I was just like amazed because the girls that when I started working with them in the beginning, because some of them were in my choir, they were like kind of very shy. They didn't really feel this need of beauty or the sense of just inner beauty. And I would have them like say, my cousin would lead them in affirmations. And it was hard for them to say, I am beautiful.
wow.
I am confident. I am bold. And like then when you see that transition and then they're all just screaming and they're like, Miss Kim, look at me. And like you can just see how that love, like just from pouring the little things into them, it's just starting to grow. And I'm just like, it made me happy. And so I'm hoping to do another one this summer. I'm just like, Lord,
Oh,
that
that's
was an
incredible.
experience. I don't want to stop that. Like if you supplied the funds last summer, we're gonna do it again. We're gonna do it again.
Well,
Yeah,
maybe
so
as you start your planning for that, we can bring you back on and strictly talk about that. Maybe some of our viewers or listeners will be able to contribute for this year for sure. We have a lot
yeah.
of incredible entrepreneurs and business owners, career folks that we've been bringing on this podcast now, and with varying skills. And I'm sure there's some way that some of them will want to connect with the younger ladies. And
Yes,
even Good Morning Gorgeous.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Good morning, gorgeous. Or Sharonda She Shed. I mean, for
Sharonda
all of
She
us,
Shed, that's what we
because
do.
yeah, because the way you're talking about, she's a coach. Sharonda's a licensed coach,
I'm a
so
life
she would be
coach.
able to, do some coaching. And I would be willing to bless you guys with the T-shirt, whatever, with the name on it, because I have a cricket machine and I can do the shirts for it. I
oh
can
wow,
donate
that's
the
a blessing.
shirts for you. So yeah.
Definitely. It's so crazy because I've been, when you have like all these creative ideas, you try not to overwhelm yourself because, like I said, I'm eliminating control from my life. I'm like trying to do everything in His timing. But again, I'm like, okay, Lord, I want to do this. Like, but I'm not trying to like, overstep or getting the wrong people because I want it to be what it's supposed to be. And so
Yes.
I've just been kind of very patient. I was like, I'll call back my team because we always do it. It seems like to be in the second week in July. And so and it's like so crazy because it falls on my birthday. So I'm like, okay. But I was like, I'll just come back to it probably in like the end of March or beginning of April, pull up my team together and let's really start getting down to the nitty gritty of just how this is going to look.
Yeah. And make sure you utilize other folks. The more you reach out to other resources, then the less it taps into you. You have someone that can do shirts. You have a life coach. Like there's different people that you can be connected with where they say, okay, I can handle this part. I can take this part. And then knowing that they got it, they're going to take care of it and you don't have to worry about it. Yeah. That's the beauty of a lot of this is when you make connections, especially with women that are already professionals in specific areas. This is what we do. So when we say we got it, we really got it because it's what this is what we do. But yeah, I mean, I think it'd be great to be able to do some work with the young ladies for sure. And maybe Larissa, in the future, we could figure out ways to tap them into some of our plans with the podcast.
I love it.
Write that down.
Yeah, because there's some young. Because I mean, there's
coming.
Yeah, because there's young entrepreneurs out here that that have started, business. I mean, I have a niece. I'm not sure if she's still doing it, but she had started a line. She created her own hair products because her and her sisters have thick curly style. Their natural hair is like cat curly, like their mom. So, and she was having a hard time finding products that worked on their hair. Well, she ended up creating her own.
Oh, wow.
She ended up creating her own. And then she created this bonnet, the silk bonnet that you can put on your head and all of this kind of stuff. And I was so proud of her. It was one Juneteenth and they drove up from Louisville. She lives in Louisville and she also baked. So she graduated a year early from high school, started culinary school. So, I mean, and she cooks too. So, but yeah, so there are quite a few young entrepreneurs that we can tap into and
I love it.
them into the program. I love
it.
it.
I know we're going to be ending soon, but I didn't want to leave without saying, speaking of cooking, I know you brought up, she got her culinary. You're starting a food business?
Yes.
What about that?
Well, the thing is, during COVID as well, that's when my entrepreneurial spirit kind of sparked. I always knew I wanted something of my own, and I wanted this big Keynotes Music Therapy Dream Center. Like that's what I wanted. And one of my friends was like, well, there's ways to generate revenue and incomes. How do you think, what other ways you can do? And I was like, well, my family has a food restaurant. I always had a passion in food. So we started a food company called Essential Eats. I then got the LLC for it, made it all, real, this is mine. And then last May, I launched it, and me and my cousin, who was in culinary school at Johnson and Wales, we came together, she created the menu, and we launched a New Orleans cuisine to launch our brand. And so it's all vegan, plant-based foods. And so our goal is to enhance a healthier lifestyle, to make a good change. We're not saying go vegan. We're not saying go vegetarian, but we're saying that there's ways for you to implement these foods into your daily habits and make it a routine and kind of just being self-aware of your body. And so we launched that to just, to give us more encouragement to know that we're youth, but we can do this. And again, everything was given to me like for free. Like the center that I had it in, I went there to meet with the guy for mentor, and he was like, I don't know. He said, I don't know. He said, I'm going to give you this space for free for one night. And he said, you can launch the business. And it was it's like a kitchen too. So they had all the kitchen space, and I had this big dining room area, and everything was just flowing. And I was like, Lord, thank you. Thank you. Like it at least gave me a mindset to know that nothing's impossible. It's about setting those intentions and just walking really by faith. And so I was just like, okay, like from this on point, I'm just going to trust you. And if you say do it, do it.
Yes, that's so good.
Yeah.
So how is that going now?
It's going well. Since then, I competed in a vegan competition, won first place for our vegan crab cakes. And so that was exciting.
Congratulations. Okay, we're going to have to try. Oh, I'd like to try those.
Yes, and in Louisville. That's your stomping ground.
I'm in Louisville. And then my cousin, she lives, like I said, in Rhode Island, but it's like a business trip, but my spring break trip. I'm going to stay with her for a week, and we're going to kind of map out some things that we want to do in the summertime. But because we're building this generational wealth together, we try to make sure we're in tune and no one's overstepping or overwhelming each other. Because we know that to build something that we want to be as big, it's about slow and steady. It's not about trying to just throw things out there and not being consistent with it. So me and her are going to meet together. We have some ideas of either a cookbook or launching. We do a lot of picklings. When I did that food cook-off, a lot of people liked our homemade pickles and peppers. And so we want to start maybe jarring some things and maybe hitting some farmers markets this summer. So we're just going to see what that looks like, of what we can both do with us being in two separate locations. And having it accessible for those who want it.
No, that's a great idea. Both of those literally could make you both money without being together. You can sell absolutely. I love it. Yeah. Who knows? Maybe a food truck later on.
And that was so crazy. That was one thing that was offered to me in the summer. Like the water company, the waterfront was like, I was meeting with them to be down there, but something kept telling my spirit, because you remember COVID and all that happened. I literally, on the news, there was a person on there, they were talking about their food truck business. They were going in debt because they have been putting in, because gas prices went up, and then people aren't willing to want to pay the food truck experience. And so I was like, okay, Lord, I told them investors, I said, no, I said, I'm sorry, I'm just going to have to step away from this and do what I need to. I just need to get more mentorship. And so then that's when I met the guy, and he was like, he said, I don't think food truck right now, do slow and steady pop-ups. Utilize the spaces that you have, and that's your money. You know, they let you pop up for free. And I was just like, okay, you know.
That's a good idea.
It is a good idea. It was a good idea.
Yeah. So one other thing I was going to say is, I have a friend that she does is Tammy Sweet Tasty Treats, and
we interviewed her too.
We interviewed her.
I think I just met her.
Yeah. And so she's amazing. I just was with her the other night, and she made these. Oh my God. And this was new. So these will be something new that she'll add to her menu. She made these cute little kind of squared kind of cups. And she made a banana pudding cheesecake and a strawberry crunch cheesecake.
I need both of those.
Oh my God. So it wasn't like a regular, like a round, cheesecake slices. It was more of like this pudding. And then the strawberry one had like these strawberry, I don't know what it was, crumbled crumbs at the bottom. Then that pudding in the middle, cheesecakey pudding, and then those crumbles again, and then topped with some whipped cream and strawberry.
So good.
And vice versa with the banana pudding. Oh my goodness. They was gone. It was gone just like that. that dessert went, yeah, and it was it was for Black History Month at a UK cooperative initiative where they had a chef come on. He did a performance and did a presentation, and I wasn't expecting to have a full course meal. But they had fried chicken, lasagna with it was like a vegan lasagna with the plant-based meat. I couldn't even tell the difference. And they had a salad, the greens and for the salad, the dried strawberries and the pecans were all grown from a separate initiative that partnered with the UK cooperative. So it was really, so I'm saying, if God is speaking to you, there are plenty of opportunities for you to start doing, with your cousin, y'all doing it and be in these different locations. Tammy is in 7 locations.
Wow.
7. She's 3 locations here in Lexington. She's in Berea somewhere.
Yeah.
She was in Maysville. She's not in Maysville anymore. Not sure if she's in Louisville, but she's in 7 different locations.
Yeah. See, that's just, it gives you more, for me, like I love hearing things like that because it's just the hope, because sometimes hope it's like there and then things happen. But when you hear more people's stories and like you're starting to surround yourself with the people that are going to give you that inspiration, it's like the hope. It's the hope.
Yep. So good. Yeah. Well, we're getting slow to the end of our talk today. And we kind of covered a little bit of, we covered a lot. But thinking about everything that we've talked about, whether it's the cooking or musical therapy, is there anything that you would like to leave with our listeners or our viewers whenever they take a look at this podcast today?
Yes. One thing that I would like to leave with you all, for anyone who's watching this, is don't get confused. And this is from a life lesson for me. Don't get confused with stillness and stagnant. It is important for you to
I gotta write that down.
I'm definitely writing that down. Yes. Don't get confused with stillness and
stagnant. It was placed in my heart when God gave me that word. It was just saying, like, after you're walking away from distractions or strongholds that come, there comes a period where you just sometimes have to just be still and let God know that, and trust that He's God, and so He is going to literally move everything and turn everything around for your good. my testimony is I love sharing the things that I've overcome, and just trusting God and just allowing him to move everything like he's done. He's told me to stay focused on your vision. Stay prayed up, stay and pray for the obedience and the strength. And just know that the battle's already been won. And so all you have to do is keep fighting to move forward. So just trust the process.
That is a perfect message to leave with folks.
Yes.
I mean, absolutely perfect. And I am going to use this. Don't get stillness confused with stagnance, because the Lord a lot of times tell us to be still. That doesn't mean you're stagnant in what you're trying to do. It just means in this moment, it's time for you to be still. I love it.
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining us today. This was so good.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Looking forward to what happens with you. We'll definitely contact with you about some other things that we have going on with Good Morning Gorgeous. I can see Larissa's mind just turning right now with ideas. I actually thought of one while we were sitting here. I'll share that later. But thank you so much for joining us today, and we look forward to talking with you in the future too.
Yes, thank you all for having me, and it's a blessing to be a part of you all's show. Thank you.
Yay. And to everyone else out there, either watching or listening, as we always like to say, find yourself,
believe in yourself,
and love
yourself.
Thank you all so much for joining us today on Good Morning Gorgeous. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.